On a cold night in Lahore, Pakistan, in the year 1999, a handwritten letter arrived at police headquarters. It was not anonymous, it was not vague, and it was not a threat. It was a confession. I have killed 100 boys. I strangled them with my own hands. I dissolved their bodies in acid. And I want to be punished the same way. For detectives who had spent years chasing rumors of missing street children, this letter felt unreal, too precise, too calm, too deliberate. But what they were about to uncover would become one of the most horrifying criminal cases in South Asian history. This is the story of Javed Iqbal, a man who claimed responsibility for the murder of 100 children and died before justice could fully reach him. Lahore was and still is one of Pakistan's largest and most vibrant cities. But beneath the color and chaos of daily life, thousands of children lived unseen. Runaways, orphans, street vendors. Boys as young as 6, surviving on scraps, sleeping under bridges, washing cars for coins. When these children disappeared, few people noticed. There were no missing person posters, no press conferences, no urgency. Families who tried to report disappearances were often dismissed. They're street kids, one parent recalled being told. They move around. This quiet neglect created the perfect hunting ground. Javed Iqbal lived in a modest house in Lahore. Neighbors described him as quiet, polite, and unremarkable. He was not a drifter. He was not visibly violent. He blended in. But behind closed doors, investigators would later discover a carefully planned system of deception, abuse, and murder. Iqbal harbored deep resentment towards society, particularly law enforcement. In his letters, he wrote about revenge, claiming he was retaliating against police officers who had once falsely accused and humiliated his own father. Whether this grievance was real or exaggerated remains debated. What is certain is that he turned that rage toward the most vulnerable members of society. Iqbal targeted boys between 6 and 16 years old. He approached them gently with food, money, and a place to sleep. Sometimes he promised work. Sometimes he offered shelter from the rain. To children who had nothing, these offers felt like miracles. They followed him willingly. What happened next was systematic. According to his own confession, Iqbal strangled the boys, often with a rope or cord. Death was intentional, calculated. He did not panic. He did not rush. Afterward, he dismembered the bodies and dissolved them in acid, disposing of the remains through drains and sewer systems. The method ensured no bodies, no evidence, no closure. For years, the disappearances continued. Then, in 1999, something changed. Iqbal began writing, not just to police but to newspapers, officials, and government offices. The letters were detailed, methodical, and disturbingly unemotional. He described how many boys he killed, how he killed them, where he disposed of their remains, and why he believed he deserved execution. "I demand the same punishment I gave them," he wrote. "Hang me publicly, then dissolve my body in acid." These were not the words of a man seeking escape. They were the words of someone seeking recognition. At first, investigators were skeptical. 100 victims? No bodies? No witnesses? But the letters contained specific details, addresses, timelines, methods that were impossible to ignore. Police traced the handwriting, tracked the return address, and soon they were standing at Javed Iqbal's door. When officers entered the house, they found chilling evidence: acid containers, bloodstains, tools matching his descriptions, handwritten logs and letters. Iqbal did not resist. He did not deny. He confessed again, this time in person. "I killed them," he reportedly told investigators. All 100. Despite the confession, authorities faced a major obstacle. There were no bodies to confirm the full scale of the crime. Forensic teams recovered chemical residue and biological traces, but full identification was nearly impossible. The number 100 came primarily from Iqbal's own statements. Some investigators believed the number was accurate. Others suspected exaggeration. But even the lowest estimates confirmed multiple murders, enough to classify him as a serial killer. When news broke, the country was shaken. Parents flooded police stations. Families searched old photos, hoping for answers. The media dubbed Iqbal Pakistan's worst serial killer. Questions followed. How could this happen unnoticed? Why were street children ignored? How many more cases were never reported? In court, Iqbal showed no remorse. He reiterated his demand for punishment, mirroring his crimes. The court sentenced him to death by hanging, followed by dissolution of his body in acid. It was one of the most extreme sentences ever handed down in Pakistan. But the execution never happened. Before the sentence could be carried out, Javed Iqbal was found dead in his prison cell. Officials ruled it as suicide. He was reported to have strangled himself, but doubts remain. There were no witnesses, no surveillance footage released, no clear timeline. To this day, questions linger. Did he take his own life? Was he silenced? Or did the system fail once again? The case forced Pakistan to confront uncomfortable truths: the invisibility of street children, gaps in child protection, weak systems for tracking missing persons. Some reforms followed. Awareness increased. But for many families, answers came too late or not at all. Javed Iqbal may be gone, but the echoes of his crimes remain. 100 boys, or perhaps fewer, or perhaps more, vanished into silence. Their names were never recorded. Their stories were never told. This case reminds us that the most dangerous crimes do not always happen in darkness. Sometimes they happen in plain sight when society chooses not to look. Because when a child disappears and no one asks why, evil finds room to breathe.